Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Finders Trading Channel. Back again with another daily market analysis video. It is Thursday, the 20th of March, 2025, and we're going to be taking a look at the markets for today. Look at the movements that happened yesterday, and based on that, see what we could potentially capitalize on. Without further ado, let's hop into the charts. We're going to be starting with NAS 100. So on NAS 100, what we can see is that price is in a bit of a bullish consolidative phase. Reason why it's in a bullish consolidative phase is we can see higher low channels forming, although we are not seeing any new higher highs. Market was in a bit of a consolidation around the 12th of March. We have broken past the resistance level on that consolidation, but we are not seeing any new higher highs created. We are just seeing price stepping on the 19,860 level and not moving from there. We did have a bit of a push down this morning, but first let's take a look at the indicators. So on RSI, we can see that the RSI is currently on 50, which is a consolidative RSI. On the moving average, the 50 moving average, price has broken above the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart. It seems to be using it as a support, but only time will tell. Price can do anything at this point, and that is why it is still very consolidative in nature. We would have to see a clean break above this level at 19,860 in order to assume that the bulls have taken control and take further long positions, potentially to 20,625. But if price breaks lower, then we have our support structure at 19,150. That is still holding strong. Going into a lower time frame, we can observe the bullish higher lows of this market despite the resistance, and makes it very hard to trade this. Although I was cognizant and I was looking for shorts throughout yesterday, the market did move bullish and retested the resistance. And only this morning did the market fall. Now, it only fell approximately 19,880. It fell approximately 30 pips and it found its support on the bullish trend line. Now, I am still very cognizant that this market can still move bullish as it's done in the past, despite the bearish nature of that resistance channel. And for that reason, I am going to be staying out of these markets in the short term. I could potentially trade to the upside, but there's no guarantee we're going up. This trend line is newly formed after markets found support at the 19,450 level. It was at this level I thought markets were going to go down. I did state that a break of this level here at 19,550 may provide us more bullish upside, which it did. But again, finding resistance at the 19,880 level. I did not take a long position yesterday. So I'm very cognizant of the consolidation nature of this market, and will trade very cautiously and very carefully as this market progresses. Just a quick analysis on the indicators. We can see that price is bearish on the RSI. It's trading below 50. And in terms of the moving average, we're very consolidative in nature here, as price is just breaking and retesting the 50 moving average at the moment on the 1 hour. So that is our analysis for NAS 100. Moving on to US 30. So US 30, we can see the overall trend is bearish. Now, that being said, we did have a trend here where we were creating lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower high, lower high, another lower high, and then we created a lower low. Price has essentially broken above that lower high, but we are still testing this resistance level at 42,000 essentially. Now, this market could continue moving bullish. We can see very bullish nature at play here. If we take a look at the indicators, we can see that the RSI is above 50, below 70, so that's a bullish confluence. The 50 moving average has just been broken on the 4-hour, and we are currently testing the resistance level at 42,000. Thus, for that reason, it is bullish in the short term. We could potentially see long-term bulls, but overall, I still think the structure could turn bearish. Now, moving on to the 1-hour, we can observe that the price is bullish. It is testing this bullish trend line that is moving along here. We've broken above the 50 MA. We are trading above the 50 MA, but we are constantly retesting it here. From the 18th of March to present, we've tested it almost 3 times, but price is finding a hard time breaking that support at 42,000. Price pushes up, pushes back down, and it is currently sitting on that bullish trend line. If price breaks further above and actually breaks beyond the 42,400 level, then I know for a fact that the bulls are in control. But if price pushes up, breaks 42,000, tests 42,400 and comes back down, I am going to see how it reacts to that bullish trend line moving forward. So we do have a potential for a long opportunity to 42,400. Although our indicators on the 1-hour, we can see that RSI is very bearish at the moment. Not very bearish, but it is bearish. It is below 50. We can see strong wick rejections on that bullish trend line, and for that reason, we'll go into our 5-minute time frame and start potentially looking for some opportunities there. So on the 5-minute time frame, you can see the very bearish nature of the market down to the correctional phase to the resistance level. I am not seeing any strong signals that indicate the bulls have taken back control of this market. All I'm seeing is that the break of momentum, you can see momentum died out here. We had a push up. We did have a morning star signal followed by bullish confirmation. That may be a potential signal, but we can also see the overextended nature of the market here on the RSI. Price is trading below the moving average, and it could just be getting back to that level before pushing lower. So I'm very uneasy trading this until I get long-term confirmation on the trend. And the long-term confirmation I am looking for is for a bullish push. Do I think we could push up from here? Yes. Do I want to take a trade? Absolutely. How would I take this trade? Say that that's the confirmation. So the morning star followed by the bullish confirmation. Could potentially see a push up. 1:3 risk to reward ratio. However, we could be targeting the 42,400 level. So for a 1:4 risk to reward. I would say trade this very carefully. I don't think it's a confirmed trend. I think there's a lot more that needs to go into this market to actually confirm that it is moving bullish again towards that resistance level, as well as a clean break of the 42,000 level that we are seeing here, which is also a psychological level. So that is our analysis on US 30. Let's see what's happening on gold. So gold seems to be in a bit of a consolidative phase. It is making higher highs, although it is still very much in that overextended region. We can see some bearish bearish divergence stepping in right there. This one, current interval only. You can see some bearish divergence stepping in. A lot of volume used to create this high, less volume used to create that high. So it is clear that the bull stepped in, and we did have a correctional phase to the downside. Even on the 1-hour, we can see the bearish divergence that is at play. So on two time frames, we're seeing bearish divergence. Now the MA, the moving average, is still very bullish at this point, and so is the RSI. Although that bearish divergence does give rise to a pullback, a potential pullback trade. On the 1-hour, we are trading upon the MA right now, and we have a support level at 3027.5, and that support level seems to be holding strong. I do believe that this level has been validated now. So we have, I would like to say, bullish consolidation. Markets moving down, testing this level, could potentially pop back up with our resistance at 3054.8. So I'm going to just mark that off. or let's say 3055. So markets could potentially push off this level, test that, and then keep moving down, or keep making highs. Again, this gold market is currently being run on fundamental sentiment and a lot of fear around U.S. policies, as well as the wars in the Ukraine, Russia, and Palestine and Hamas. So there has been some ceasefire agreements coming in, which is potentially why we're seeing a slight sell-off. But again, we're not sure if that is sustainable in the long term. Markets could keep pushing up, or we could see dollar strength stepping in and a huge dip in this market. Huge drop in this market, while we see an increase in the indices for NAS and US 30. I think everything right now is just very much in that bullish consolidative phase. At the moment, we're seeing the retracement. So if you took some short positions to the support, great, but be cognizant that there could be a potential bounce of the support, and we've already had 1 wick rejection at the 12 o'clock candle. So potentially looking for longs from this position at 3027 to the upside at 3055. But again, we are trading all-time highs. We do have structure here, but beyond 3055, we do not have structure. We will be beyond the all-time highs, and that is a very difficult place. So I would say take your profits once we hit that resistance level. Euro USD on the 4-hour moving bearish at the moment, although we are seeing consolidative nature in the markets on this 4-hour chart. We can see that price has found its support at 1.0822 with resistance at 1.0946. Price is currently in a downtrend and is looking like it's going to potentially test that 1.0824 level. In terms of the moving average, we're currently breaking below the moving average, which could just be in line with the retracement before a further push up. In terms of RSI, we are below 50, between 30, which is a bearish confluence, so keep that in mind. The bears are in control within this consolidative phase right now. Like I mentioned yesterday, we were looking for shorts after a break of this level. Price very much just spiked back up at 8 and sat on this level all the way till the early hours of this morning. And we did see some wick rejection, lots of dojis before a break of structure at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can see the bulls firmly took control there, and it is trading below the 50 MA, where price came back up, tested 50 MA after the break at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, and has now kept pushing bearish. We can also see the RSI was very bearish at this time, trading below 50, between 30, and we are now in the overextended regions where we could be expecting a push to the upside. My guess is price will probably test the resistance at 1.0825 before pushing higher. We can already see some wick rejection stepping in as it has in the past, so we could be looking for a turnaround sometime soon. We're also seeing the momentum slowing down, which could indicate the bulls are looking to take control within the coming hours. Euro JPY, we have broken into a very strong bullish movement on the 4-hour chart. Despite the bullish trendline which we had, which broke past resistance, price did break back into that channel and has broken the bullish trendline. We've also broken below the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart, and we are very bearish on the RSI, where we are below 50, between 30, but a lot closer to 30 than 50, which means that there is two very bearish confluences, actually 3 bearish confluences if we count the break in trend line. Was expecting a break and retest level here. We have the spike, but price could not maintain, so we will remove that. We have our support here at 160.2. Could potentially see a test here before further push up, but it appears that the bears have taken control. Moving into a lower time frame, we can see that the spike which took place on Wednesday at 10, but the markets haven't been moving steadily bearish since 4 o'clock on Wednesday. We had a confirmation on that bullish engulfing candle on the 1 hour, followed by another one at 7 o'clock, and since then market's been making steady bullish moves. We could be looking at some good shorting opportunities here. I see I had 2 trades in there, but unfortunately I missed them. Seeing some pullbacks followed by bullish trades. Go to the 5-minute. Let's see what we can observe. We had an opportunity here at 10 past 10, followed by another one at 20 to 11. We had a nice pullback here, followed by bullish engulfing and bullish confirmation at 5 past 12. So yeah, I mean, we can see steady bearish opportunities. I'll be actually looking for a pretty decent trade right about now. I'll be looking to take a short position, potentially from here, looking to trade it all the way down to the 160.2 level, and we'll probably get a 1:2 risk to reward on this type of trade with our stop loss at 161.3. So I will do the analysis on that. Let's actually just do the quick trade log. So if we're in a shorting position, excuse me, so price is currently at 160.39 with price with a stop loss at 161.3. Okay, so we get a 0.02 lot size, and we would only be looking to capitalize on about 78 pips right there. So let's see what happens with that trade. Moving on to USD JPY. Looks like the bulls have stepped in here again. So we tested that bullish. Again, like I mentioned, the bulls were in control, but we tested that resistance channel and we moved very bearish at 7 o'clock last night. So the bears have firmly taken control, although we are finding support here at 148.32. Markets bounced off this level, but is not making any highs towards that break and retest zone. Looks like we have a bit of consolidative nature, which we could possibly observe on a lower time frame. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not seeing it, but it does appear as though the bears have taken firm control of this market with that huge engulfing candle at 8 o'clock last night. Just to observe the indicators, we can see that the RSI is below 50 between 30, which is bearish, and price is currently upon the 50 MA at the moment. So that does not provide us a signal. But with the break in the bullish trend line, we have 2 sets of bearish confluence which we can work off. I am expecting price to actually go back up and test that 149.2 break and retest zone before price drops. So we could potentially see a push off this level to there before a drop further down. Let's take a look at the other markets quickly. We have Bitcoin, which has made some headway, trading at 85.29 at the current moment, but still within that bearish trend line. We can see higher lows being formed right there, so we have a bit of a trend to work with. You can see higher highs, new higher high being formed recently. RSI is above 50, and we are broken above the 50 MA on the 4-hour chart. CHF JPY, I know we got some CHF news today. This has been invalidated. We could potentially see a bounce here, could we not? So price did break out of that bearish channel, could potentially be seeing a test of the break and retest zone at 168.5. Further push up could happen, but we see at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, the yen did show some signs of strength, and we are currently in that bearish move at the moment, not looking to break that momentum. You can just observe strong bearish movements, just strong impulse moves to the downside. So nothing to really capitalize on there. Let's take a quick look at our fundamentals for the day. Okay, so fundamentals for Thursday. We had some news for CHF, which has been dropped. I'll see our policy rate remains the same. AUD, negative news for AUD. Pound news, and we have some dollar news this afternoon. Pound news now at 2 p.m. and then dollar news at 2:30 p.m. unemployment claims. So yeah, definitely a fundamental trading day. Technicals, while valid, will probably fall second nature to the fundamental news released today. So be cognizant of that. So yeah, that is our analysis for the day ahead. Not a lot of opportunities. I mean, like I said, mostly scalps. I got murdered this week, but most of the trades I took didn't really work in my favor. Again, I used proper risk management strategies, so I only ended up losing about 2% of my account per day, which is pretty low considering the profits I took last week. Which, yeah, see, again, we're using profits to make money. That is the general idea. And when profits do hit, we want to ride those suckers for as long as possible. As always, this is not financial advice, but rather just my personal opinions in the markets. I hope everybody has an amazing trading day and makes some great profits. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers, everyone.